Have you ever wondered how many people in your state are actually from your state? Oddly enough, to a lot of people, this really matters. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the World According to Briggs. Today we are looking at states with the least born and bred residents, like the lowest percentage. On this channel, we get a lot of comments from people from every state saying something along the lines of, "Don't move here, we don't want you, we're full," all the time. They seem to be under the impression because they were born somewhere, they have more of a right to live there than anyone else. Why, you ask? I don't know. My guess is they're either only children that never learned how to share, or they can't afford the medication they were prescribed. Either way, we get a lot of them in the comment section. This video is about states that have the smallest portion of the state's population that were born and bred in the state. Born and bred is the same as born and raised. For some reason, that was an issue with the last video we did like this. This video's stats come from the US Census Annual Community Survey of 2019. Now, I do 2019, like I've said before, with the pandemic. Stats are kind of weird, and if we're comparing them year over year, it's a little weird, so we'll just stick with 2019 this year. All right, let's see some states that are in short supply of locals. Number 10, Idaho. Idaho is one of those states that complain about people moving in all the time. Colorado and Idaho seem to be the two biggest ones. But maybe for Idaho, they've got a reason. 40 years ago, they were almost 90% born and bred in the gem state. In the last few decades, they've become a landing spot for Californians, mostly Californian retirees, and for some reason, California retirees that were in law enforcement. They seem to all flock there like moths to a flame. The population of Idaho is 1,787,000 people, but born in the state's only about 823,000, giving them about 46% of the population being born and raised. Born in other states is about another 46%, and then born in foreign countries is 5.7%, with about 80% of that 5.7% being from Mexico. Number 9, Oregon. Oregon has been a hotspot for transplants for around 30 years now, most of them coming from California. I'm actually one of them. I've been here 11 years, and no, I'm not leaving. I'm not the reason you can't afford to buy a house in Oregon. You picking a shitty career path is probably the biggest factor. But Oregon being so popular has definitely changed the demographics of the state. The population in 2019 was 4,217,000. Born in the state residents sits at about 1,923,000, making that about 45.6% of the population. Born in other states is about 1,830,000, giving that about 43.4%. And born in a foreign country is 9.7% of the population. That's what they get for being so popular and beautiful. I mean, there's got a lot of problems here, but it's still a beautiful state, and it's been popular for a long time. Number 8, Delaware. The first state is kind of small and it doesn't have a big population, so it's kind of easy to really change the demographic here and not have a high percentage of born and bred in the state. Delaware is actually ranked 46th in population, so it doesn't have that many people. It has less than 1 million people. Actually, in 2019, they had 973,000. And in the 2020 census, they actually lost 3,000 people from 2019. It's not that hard to acquire out-of-state residents when you have so many states around you, like Delaware does. They have Washington, D.C., which isn't a state, I get it. They have Maryland, they have New Jersey, Philadelphia, and Rhode Island. They're all right there, and they all just kind of move into Delaware on occasion, and that changes their demographics. Now, before you leave that angry comment, Rhode Island's nowhere near Delaware. It's up there by Connecticut, the other side of New York, and Massachusetts. But Delaware does get a lot of out-of-state residents, and a lot of retired military seem to want to move into Delaware. Like I had said, the population of Delaware is 973,000. Of that, about 428,000 are born in the state, giving them about 43.9% of the population, and born in other states is about 428,000, giving them about 44% of that section of the population. Foreign born is about 9.99%. Number 7, Wyoming. Wyoming's a beautiful state, and a lot of people are starting to realize that in recent years, and this has really changed their demographics. And again, like Delaware, they hardly have any people living there already, so it's easy to change their demographic. I think in the coming years and maybe a couple decades, this is going to continue to change. The population in 2019 for the Cowboy State was 578,000 residents. Like I said, not a lot of people live there. Born in the state residents is about 249,000, making it about 43% of the population. And born in other states is about 53% of the population, with 308,000. Born in other countries is only 3%. Number 6, Alaska. The last frontier state is the third and final state with such a small population. Changing it's really easy to do. Alaska is the largest state in area, yet it's the 48th in population. I don't think there'll be much change going forward. This last census, they only grew by 3.3%. That's the first time since 1930 that they had less than double-digit percentage growth. In the 50s and 60s, Alaska grew by like 77 and 75%, and then it was 30s till just recently when they went to 13% last census, and then this one only 3.3%. So the growth is definitely slowing down. The population of Alaska in 2019 was 731,000 residents. Born in the state was only 313,000 residents, giving them about 42.8%. Born in other U.S. states was a little more at 341,000, making that about 46.6%, and born in a foreign country is 7.98%. Number 5, Colorado. Colorado residents are the biggest complainers when it comes to transplants, and they do get a lot of them. But really, this has been going on at a good clip since the 1960s, so you'd think they'd be used to it. The Centennial State has always drawn in outsiders, and that's normally the case with any state that has breathtaking outdoors like Colorado has. In 2019, Colorado had a population of 5,758,000, and of that, born in state residents was 42.2% of the population. That's about 2.4 million. Born in other states is about 2.6 million, making that about 46.5% of the population, and born in a foreign country is only 9.5%. I really thought it would be a little bit higher than the 9.5%. Number 4, New Hampshire. New Hampshire really hasn't had a big flood of people moving in. Back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they were growing at a pretty good pace, but since 2000 and 2010, they really started slowing down. They have been getting a lot of cold weather retirees. Retirees normally head to Phoenix or Florida, but a lot of them are ended up in New Hampshire these days. I guess it's a good place to go if you want to have a little land in retirement, not just a condo or something. The population of New Hampshire in 2019 was 1,359,000, and of those, about 40% were born in the state. Born in other states that moved to New Hampshire, 51.6%, about 701,000. Born in a foreign country, 6.39%. That's another one. I thought they'd have a little bit less than 6.3. Number 3, Arizona. Arizona is another one of those states that's been flooded with Californians escaping California for a long time now, as far back as I can remember. And this has definitely affected the born and raised stat. They're not just moving to one area of Arizona either. They're going to Phoenix, Tucson, Mesa, Chandler, Glendale. Even Flagstaff gets their share. The influx of out-of-staters Arizona's been seeing over the last couple decades shows no signs of slowing down, so I'm sure these stats are going to change every single year as time goes on. The population of Arizona in 2019 was 7,278,000. Born in the state was about 2.9 million. That's about 39.8% of the population. Born in other U.S. states was about 3.3 million. That makes about 45.3% of the population. And born in a foreign country, that's the highest on this list so far, sitting at 13.4% of the population. It should be a no-brainer. I mean, Mexico's right there, obviously. Number 2, Florida. Now, if you didn't know Florida was going to be on this list, you haven't been paying attention. This is where all the New York, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan retirees head to. Basically, any state that gets more than 1 foot of snow a year has a bunch of retirees in Florida right now. This, as you can imagine, has really affected the born and bred stats. In 2019, Florida had 21,477,000 residents. About 7,688,000 were born in the state of Florida. That's about 35.8%. Born in other U.S. states was 8,423,000, about 39.2% of the population. And born in a foreign country, 21.07% of the population. So that is the highest foreign-born percentage on this list. And before we get to number 1, don't forget, if you like what we're doing here, please subscribe. Give the video a big thumbs up. Also, we have another channel called On This Day. We'd love it if you went over there and subscribed too. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Nevada. This channel got its start angering the born and raised crowd of the Silver State, Nevada. I made a video about why you shouldn't move to Las Vegas. The thing is, it wasn't even made for YouTube. It was made as a joke for a friend on Facebook who was moving to Las Vegas. I ended up posting it to YouTube because I didn't have anything else to upload that week. I only used to upload once a week. Well, this video angered all the Nevada born and raised types. After researching this video, I realized it's really not that big of a deal that I angered them because there isn't that many of them anymore. Nevada's population in 2019 was just a little over 3 million. They're born and raised in the state is 839,000. That's 27.2% of the population is born and raised in that state. That's not a lot. Born in other U.S. states was 1.5 million, about 51.14% of the population, and born in a foreign country is 19.8% of the population. So there's really not that many Nevada natives anymore. Californians are just flooding in there. Also, a lot of Oregonians moved to Nevada too, strangely enough. One extreme to the next, weather-wise. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.